It's recording now.
No, man, not here.
Oh my god.
Oh, you can't go ready then. Ready. You in a bit, let Papa record. My arms are doing the match ain't even started.
You don't explain?
Oh, it's recording, okay. Keep a co-hosting me and everything.
How is he shooting? The match with the ball?
He just trying to be.
You can shoot as well, you know.
Okay. Adam, can you put me right selfie?
Says YouTube.
I'm gonna put this on YouTube, okay?
Yes,
Oh, I'm never recording in my life.
yo, yeah, no, sure.
If you ever meet this kid named Moy Mahmood,
Mohit.
he's a weirdo.
Shut your mouth.
I don't think they're my cousin.
Emily, man.
Have you put me around selfie?
No.
Yeah, you all look.
Okay, I'll keep it leaving and coming back, okay? Till I'm 10 prestige, and I'll just finish the video of a 10 prestige, okay? Have you did it?
No.
You don't have to charge this for it.
You defense me for accident.
I wanna hear him as well.
Wait.
Sure.
Adam, what other patches have you got?
I'm not one of them.
What's me?
Other patches are the best one because you can use it and change the game to that.
Easy.
Fucking hell, I got all of them.
He's got all of them, Batman. Now, Reiki, these are easy, though. Well, have you put me around center so I can leave and come back?
Yeah, in a bad way, I'm not here. Hit one in it.
Oh, no. He's just playing VA. Oh, I'm gonna come
Send
back.
that picture, yeah.
Okay.
Poop, he ain't got all. He ain't got all.
He does.
He changed the clan to cunt.
Did you run figures?
Cunt.
That's what happens if you run.
Look what it says on the bottom. It says you fucking owned.
So you get straight out when you get deranked.
Yeah.
Cunt and you fucking got
I've
deranked.
got D-Bag got 5 times the whole life.
I've never got deranked.
No, it's anti.
Time to hurry up, battery's low. Oh, he kicked you?
No, it's anti-zone.
People are gonna not watch this, you know, because it's gonna be like too long.
No, zero.
They'll probably wait. Well, people, everybody's trying to be able to listen to this.
You take off cunt. Look what it says on the bottom.
What you gonna say?
Yeah, your father. Give me some.
Let's get to the point, yeah?
Oh, sure up, man.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I don't think that's okay.
Yeah, now he's not on.
Oh, no, it's not.
Adam, now it's not on. You took off now.
Look at oh, the
Put back
bottom.
and see then I'll keep it coming back. But my battery's dying. Tell me when you put me back
What
empty.
time do you take slow motion off?
Then I got.
Check shit slow motion
I
off.
love you, aim with me.
No.
Fourth prestige, any?
Well, you got deranked.
Yes, now.
How much times I got deranked in this profile blood? Not even Abbas has been deranked that much.
I haven't got you ranked one.
He has? All of his profiles have been deranked.
No.
But he got cheeky.
Only about 70.
He told me he also...
I'll see all his counts. Oh, I'm back.
Those are all the anti-bots I need, those are the
What?
Tell me when you did it.
What might be my.
Oh man, he sounds like a Bengali.
Let's go, man.
Look at him.
Adam, tell me when you did it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's time to kick him if he's keep on moaning, time to kick him. If he's keep on moaning, time to kick him.
Yesterday he just came to see you.
Did he? Did he say? I bet he did brother host you and he's just saying it.
Adam, I'm back.
I knew I would, that's crazy.
There's a type of shot
What's
on
the
it.
next people pay for your channel, Dobby?
Okay, wait, just give me. Wait, admin name.
Adam, trying to make people pay for your channel, Dobby. Over free.
Say if I ever wanted to let me have it.
It's not if I can let you know.
Adam, tell me when you did it, okay?
I'm trying to take off slow motion, man.
There you go, it's done nothing.
Who cares, my girlfriend? It's just
Oh no!
mine, man. Only really care about the channel, Dobby.
Okay, your time's gone, man. My time actually fucking takes me. Okay.
No, you don't. Last year was on your profile all day, and you saw this today mine. Actually, no, so it's. But it's
All this stuff and watch classes all that.
time to hurry
I
up.
want you to stick on this file, I don't know why you're making a new file. You just didn't make me count any.
You're the one who
Come back.
Who the one who always used to say that?
No, it's champs.
Wait, I don't know, admin.
Nope.
Oh, nah, I don't think so, mate. Oh, Patrobi.
Go procedure, go to.
Shall I proceed?
A lot of people just skanked you and put anti-joint. He's not that kind of person. I know, but a lot of people did that and then he put anti-joint so you can't join again and it deleted you.
You lost your file?
No, but a lot of people, that's what happened. Who was it? when I was, no, when I was,
You know those them ugly women in right.
Oh,
it's so funny.
it's so fun.
I now look what, you know last time, you remember when we tried like the geezer left halfway and I was on 2% low on.
Oh, I'm back.
Right.
Call him Zawi. That's my friend name. I'll call him Zawi. That's what Adam's name in my school.
How you doing? Oh, good friend can do this for a few begging.
This is what you do. Okay. See,
Put it over your head.
I'm gonna do magic, okay?
No, he should put on for you. Should put on.
In medium. Super speed and... Oh, do super speed and slow motion.
What's this then?
Oh, my promise one? Yes, straight. Straight, shut up, bro. No, this isn't G-Pack.
I'll go for speed.
Okay. That's Baba.
He's trying to get Baba out of his face and
9 procedure ready. Say that's it now.
Huh?
That's it now.
What do you mean that's it?
Procedure done.
Huh? What do you mean it's done?